Hi, Dad. This this is a bit meta. This is about these videos. Um, I had an experience that I need to talk about here, particularly because some of the people who've been watching this been um, have have told me that they are inspired by it, and I'm really happy about that, and also a bit scared. And so I want to address my fear by talking about the word vulnerable and just how terribly misused it is these days. Um, it is a few years now since I was learning how to express myself on complex issues. I was angry with my ex-wife, and I felt like I needed to say so. And I was called a lot of names for that. Um, and it was part of a period where I lost most of my progressive friends. And one of the criticisms that came from people that I cared about was that I needed to be vulnerable, and I wasn't being vulnerable, and that's why these bad things were happening, and why people hated what I was saying. Um, and so I took that advice on board, and I remember it was in the morning, and tears were running down my eyes and snot was running out of my nose. I was feeling absolutely terrified, and I was like, well, this is the vulnerable state that you are supposed to lean into. So I leant into it, and I said what I was feeling to the best of my ability in that terrible, vulnerable state that I was in. And they blasted me. Absolutely blasted me. And I still wanted to say what I was trying to say. And, and so I spent all day working out what to say. Right? Like 10 or 12 hours. What if I say this first? What if I say that first? Organizing the words, clarifying my argument. And in the end of that process, I felt bulletproof. This is the contrivance that is going to satisfy this audience, was my thinking. And I wrote it up, posted it, and I was congratulated for finally being vulnerable. And the light came on in my head, which is that people don't actually want vulnerable when they say that they want vulnerable. Um, which is not to say that Brene Brown's stories are wrong. Um, but one of the reasons why I'm telling stories alongside my conclusions when I do these videos is because conclusions are highly unreliable. Um, you know, Brene Brown's idea. Right? So let me talk a little bit about Brene Brown's vulnerability speech and why she drew the wrong conclusions from it. Or it's more subtle than that. But so she gives this TED talk about an occasion on which she gave a different talk. And when she was giving that other talk, she felt really, really scared, and she did it anyway. And the lesson she drew from that is that although our feelings of fear tell us to pull away, that we should do things and be scared at the same time. And there's something beautiful about that. And there is something beautiful about that. And it's not that I'm not scared when I do these videos, right? But what Brené Brown left out of her story was that she was, before she gave that speech, a very accomplished, very skillful public speaker. And although she was scared, she had a whole bunch of skill and presentation that she brought to it. And those are very important parts of why it worked. There's a whole argument about whether skill matters or not that I'm edging towards here, because skill does matter, and the people who tell you that skill doesn't matter are typically people who acquired a lot of money by other means, or a lot of support by other means, and they may well mean what they're saying, but they're wrong. And so, yes, I do present this stuff when I'm scared, and it does help. You know, the fact that it's all true and that it is all authentic to a very large extent, is part of what I hope helps these videos look authentic. But there are contrivances as well, right? Hi, Dad. I'm not talking to my father right now. I'm talking to living people who I care about and who I don't want to screw up some aspect of their lives because they're like, well, he gets on and he records these videos when he's clearly scared. Why don't I do that? And maybe you should, right? But maybe you're going to be presenting in a way that is upset and unattractive. Right? There's a level of upsetness. I don't record when I don't feel confident that I can present effectively, and this is all. I don't live stream any of this. Right? And one thing that I've started doing, and I have a few reasons for wanting to have output regularly available, but not necessarily anymore putting it out straight away after I've recorded it. Part of that is that I will be going to a psych ward, and although my wife will be home, I'm not particularly hard to find, and I know that there are bad people in the world, and so I don't want people to be told through this channel that she's alone. And so, you're going to see, some inconsistencies in terms of the messiness of the hair and the shirt that I'm wearing and the amount of shaving. Yeah. Because absolute authenticity is not what people want. It needs to. Everything that goes out on this channel has an amount of spin, even if it is satisfying a desperate need on my part to confess or to express something. There's a video that that is being released 2 days from now, which was recorded 5 minutes after the one that went out yesterday. In part because I don't want I don't want this to be purely angsty, right? And so there's a thing that I've recorded for tomorrow, which is relatively upbeat. I don't know, like, the key to success on YouTube appears to be a very well-groomed, smiling person, and so we get to test that with this channel, because I am not smiling much, and I am definitely not particularly well-groomed. The room behind me is, yeah. That's actually, like, because this is authentic vulnerability, right? You've got the iron on that side. Um, little mistakes like that, little things, that don't matter, flaws that don't matter, are the best way of appearing to be vulnerable, right? Because nobody gives a shit about my hair. I keep confusing this for a mirror as I look at myself. Yeah. Yeah. If you are inspired by this, then watch back the first couple of videos that you do. I did that, a lot of this stuff is going out very unedited, unviewed. I find it difficult to say, and I find it difficult to watch sometimes. And although I found the ones that I have watched, I actually found it comforting to watch it. And so maybe I should be watching more of these myself, um, confirming that I don't come across as badly as I fear that I do. Um, I'm certainly developing a better tolerance for myself in the not mirror than I used to have. But yeah, record, watch it yourself, get advice from people that you trust, not a person that you trust, but at least two people. Be aware that sucking can be part of the appeal if you do it right. Construct rituals for yourself. Hi, Dad. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I really don't feel like I've said enough. I also have now become aware that I've run out of things to say. So be kind to yourselves, please. And we'll see how it goes.